Hello everyone. Hello. Thank you very much for being here with me today. Let me make sure I've got this correct. Yeah. All right. So if you are here with me, let me know that you can hear me because I'd hate to have this recorded and nobody be able to hear me. So, perfect. Thank you. Before I get started, I want to say that everything I'm going to talk about today in the reality of relationships during difficult times, these are my opinions. It's the guidance and the education and the expertise that I have in this area of everything that has gotten me here in this world. I'm not giving a medical advice. I'm not giving therapeutic advice. I just want you to know that I want to help you and serve you in the way that I know as best of having that master's in counseling, having dealt with many different relationships and having my certification in transformational life coaching. So I just wanted to tell you that first. And again, thank you for coming on. I have my notes. I have a lot of notes. So if you see me looking down, it's only because I'm going with my notes with that. And let's get started, okay? So I want to start off with a quote from an Australian social psychologist, and he's written many, many different books, and he also was a newspaper columnist, Hugh Mackay, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. But I saw this, and I thought, oh, how appropriate for what I want to talk about today. He says, nothing is perfect. Life is messy. Relationships are complex. Outcomes are uncertain. And people are irrational. I guess you can see why I thought that might be an appropriate quote for reality of relationships in difficult times. Think about it, guys. For the past 18 months or so, we have ventured into a universe, a world that is in constant change. Yeah, things were changing before the pandemic came on to where we had to safely harbor within our homes, et cetera, and everything like that. And yet it has come at such a fast pace and kept us on this roller coaster of transformational change that sometimes I feel like the world has gone mad, especially in the way that people communicate. So there really seems to be no filters these days to what someone is saying, to what someone is writing in a post or whatever along those lines. It doesn't matter. And it seems to come from a place of hatred, disrespect, lack of really understanding how the words that are spoken or written or whatever will impact other people. Or maybe they want it to be that way. I've seen a lot of posts out there that create the conflict because they figure if they have been creating some type of reaction to everything, then they're making an impact. And I'm going to say that's not always the case, especially if it comes from an intent of just wanting to get more likes, more views, get their message out there. I'm saying that if you're creating that conflict and having it come across as something really not nice, mean, disrespectful, I'm just going to say don't do it. That's just the bottom line. But even in today's times when everything is going on at this time and there are no filters, as I said, what I also know is that this type of communication really has been going on for thousands and thousands of years. Guys, I mean, really nothing is new in this world. I think what has made a difference, in my opinion, again, is that our world has become very small. And this is because of the technology that we're using. I mean, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, FaceTime, Skype, Zoom, etc. You name it. We can connect with anyone within minutes, if not seconds. I mean, look at me. I'm going live here. You're gonna have this for however long that you need this. But I think that that's the difference. I mean, again, it's been going on, the vitriol within the world of someone wanting to have their voice heard, no matter how it's heard. And that's why I feel like, because of our technology and how it's brought us all closer together instantly, that it seems as if the world has gone mad. No, or that's kind of the way I see it. And yet, the way that people are communicating, yeah, it really hasn't changed. It really hasn't changed over the years in my lifetime and lifetimes before with everything. There have been mean words spoken in families, in friends, even strangers that you meet on the street. And I see that now even becoming more prevalent or more aware of it because of how it is being reported over and over again through every social media, news media, whatever it is that you can have. And it leaves me feeling a little in despair at times. And yet, that's what I want to talk about toward the end, of how we can get our own selves out of that feeling down and about it. So let's look at this, the reality of relationships, especially during difficult times. I think you've probably heard the saying, hurt people hurt people. So let me break it. The people who are hurting inside are going to lash out and get that hurt out, which means they are going to hurt others with that. If they're hurting inside, they need a mechanism to kind of get it out. And more than likely, if it's a family or a friend and you're around, you're going to get the brunt of it. I know that's happened with me many times. And because of the work that I've done, I understand it. Even though in the beginning I kind of get caught up into it and I just go, oh, I don't want that. But yet then I understand it with everything. People are going to lash out, they're going to say negative things about you. And this is the way I view the vitriol in the world today. I mean, maybe again, it's because of the pandemic where we harbored in place. Maybe people, because of the lack of interaction with each other, maybe they forgot how to connect with people, how to communicate with kindness, respect, compassion. My grandmother would put it this way. She said, you know what? They just forgot their manners. And I agree. And I still question why. I mean, did they get their head hit? Did they get this common sense and courtesy of common sense and respect and everything knocked out of them? And what I believe kind of happened was they found their voice. Okay. I mean, they felt they were given permission to kind of speak their mind in whatever way, shape, or form that it came out. And I'm like, I never want to say, don't speak up, because I'm about owning your worth. I just want to say, recognize how you're speaking up. There's a way in which you can begin to communicate with someone because of differences and still have a great conversation. You never want to do it with the intention of just getting your message out there, regardless of who it's going to hurt or anything along those lines. That's not what it's about. It's not my way or the highway. It is about having the deeper conversations with respect and compassion and kindness, and being able to understand other viewpoints in life. I mean, the paradigm that we're going through right now is because people are afraid. Yeah. They're afraid of anything that is different from themselves. They're holding on to that concept, again, in my opinion, that everybody has to be the same. And that's not our reality, guys. It's never really been our reality, because it's difficult for people to admit that our differences, regardless of what that is what makes us stronger. Stronger within ourselves, stronger with other people, stronger in the world with everything. And yet there are certain people out there that, because of conditioned behaviors, beliefs, stories, they've taken them on and they have faithfully clung to them and said, this is the way it is. This is the way it's always been. This is the way it's always going to be. And they don't know how to move out of that. And that's where their pain comes from. They're clinging onto something that is not a reality. They're choosing to stay in their comfort zone, which is their stories of how they were raised, and they're not willing to look at it any differently. They're not willing to come out of it. And so, therefore, it's about lashing out to others who are different from them. And yet, what I know from all of this, no matter what is going on in the world, is that when people fear differences, they're going to come across trying to change everybody else. And what I know is you can only change yourself. You can't change anyone else. You can only begin with yourself. So here's what I want you to do. Begin to look within your own life and start the healing process there. You want to look at your own stories of where you might be triggered by what someone else is saying. Why is that trigger happening to you? Why are you feeling the way you're feeling and being set off by it? Because that's where it begins. We have to heal our own stories, our own trauma, so that we won't be triggered by what's going on in the world. So think about it like this. When we begin to look within ourselves and begin loving ourselves more, begin healing from within, never having to look outside of ourselves for validation that we are enough, that we're worthy, that we need someone else to love us in order for us to love ourselves. When we begin to love ourselves fully in every way, what happens outside of ourselves, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter at all, okay? Because what really happens is as someone begins to trigger us, we have to go within and begin to heal our own stories of the pain that we've had in our life. I've had to do that many times over the years. You can go and look at my book on Amazon, Suffering in Comfort, How Owning Your Choices Will Set You Free. That's the process that I began in my own healing process, to begin to love myself more and to understand my own worthiness. Because when we do this, when we take that on and love ourselves fully, our energy begins to change. And then whatever else is said out there is not going to impact us, guys. And they're going to soon realize that you're going to realize that their story doesn't have to become your story. So as you begin to love yourself more, what is going to take place is that your energy is going to emanate out in such a way of love and light, and just the light and the shadow. Okay, overcoming the shadow, that a couple of things are going to happen with the people in your life. They're either going to be afraid of the light and they're going to just leave your life. They're going to run away. They don't want to be around it. Or they may lash out at you because they're trying to get you to stay the person that you were. Okay? And because you love yourself so much, you don't have to go there. And the other thing that's going to happen is that others are going to be so attracted to you like a moth to a light that they're going to want to know more. And they're going to want to do what you're doing. So I think about it. I've got this quote behind me. You can barely see it, but it says, it's not what happens to you, but what you do with what happens to you that matters. And what that means is heal yourself first. You can't change anyone else. But when you change yourself and you are complete on the inside with your worthiness, with your love for yourself, others can choose to change also. All right? So I want to give a couple of practical ways that can help you in case you are in this situation of being surrounded by people in negative situations. Okay. So if someone is causing you pain through mean words, hatred, bigotry, racism, whatever, you got to do whatever it takes to protect yourself from this person. You can, if possible, remove yourself from the situation. You can send love and light out to them. You could even say, look, I love you and I got to go. I just don't want to have this conversation right now. And you can walk away. You don't have to have that conversation. If you know you're going into a situation that is going to be negative, and we all know that, what you want to do is energetically protect yourself. This is the tip I give to my clients when I know that they're going through some difficult times. You want to surround yourself in this beautiful bubble of clearness and it's a Teflon bubble. Nothing can penetrate it. Nothing can puncture it. So nothing can come in, but your love and light can go out. So if someone's giving you negative words, those arrows that are being shot at you left, right, and everywhere, what you want to do is to let them bounce off with the intention that they're going back to the sender wrapped in love and light so that they can receive that also. All right. And last and not least, but don't be afraid to ask for help in any way, shape, or form. Seek out whatever you need, whether it is a therapist, a coach, something along those lines. It doesn't matter, to help you with any toxic relationships that you might find yourself in. So, I hope that helps. Again, these are all my opinions. I'm not giving medical advice or mental health advice or anything like that. However, with my expertise and the guidance that I give to my clients, this is the work that we do to begin to go deep inside so that you can begin to heal yourself. And you're no longer reacting to what's going on outside of you. You're creating your life. And it's amazing some of the things that can happen from there. So thank you for coming or listening to the replay. It does not matter. If you have any comments or questions or whatever, put it in the thread below. I will be happy to look at it and to help you along this path. So thanks again. Remember, love yourself first. That's the person you want to change. Have a good one, guys.